What's good, everyone? It's Mayari from Arabian Night Armory, and today I'm going to be showing you some new helmets I've been working on. So, one on the left here, this one's for a customer. This one is 2 millimeters thick. This is steel, and it's going to be used for Buhurt Armored Combat. It's the first Buhurt legal helmet that the guy ever had, and he thought the Griffin style bassinet was like super cool, which I agree with. It's very popular, also very effective design. So that's what I got going on over here. This one on the right, it's a little bit deviated from that Griffin style, but it's still a bassinet. A couple differences you'll notice is that the one for myself has a couple more breathing holes, a lot more breathing holes. They're spaced apart a little closer compared to the one on the left. Another difference, and it's going to be easier if I get a little closer, is that the chin on this one's a little bit narrower and it's wider on this one. Buhurt helmets often have a wide profile down here on the chin. That's because the helmet can catch a shot that could accidentally hit the neck, and so obviously it's a lot safer for you if an axe hits you here on the helmet and you're fine. It hits your neck, you die. So it's very common that it has that profile. And obviously, there are helmets historically that had a wide profile on the chin like this. Typically, you see those in artistic depictions as cavalry helmets, which also makes a lot more sense because if you're on a horse and you're elevated above someone who's on foot and they try to stab you with a spear, well, they're going to try hitting you in the neck. And so when you're looking down at them, right, imagine this looking down, the profile here on how wide the chin is would cover your neck. So yeah, this is still good. This one, I'm not going to be using it for Buhurt because I'm going to fancy it up. I'm going to put a brass trim along there. I'm going to put brass here. I'm going to put a lot of brass trim. I'm thinking about putting a brass crest too. This one's going to be used in cut and thrust style HEMA fighting. I'm probably not ever going to do any Buhurt with it because I don't want it to get beat up. Excuse me. But another thing that I was going to do possibly is paint it white. It's going to be also for a cosplay. But I'm iffy about painting it white. One of my concerns is, if I do that for the helmet, people aren't going to know that it's metal. They're going to think that it's just foam or plastic or whatever. And part of the aesthetic that I've cultivated over the years at anime conventions and comic conventions, I'm a guest speaker, is I'm the person wearing the real steel armor. So I might just leave it plain steel, but mirror polished like this, but still have that brass trim all around the edges. Another thing, so the reason why you can see my hands reflecting so nice on that polish. The reason why I like having my polish like this isn't just to be fancy. It's actually for maintenance reasons. So if your armor is mirror polished, that means that it reflects, or not reflects, what's it called? Doesn't grip onto water. So if you get water on this, if you get mud on this, any kind of liquid stuff, right? A smoother surface, that fluid will just kind of bead off, right? Versus if it's a really rough finish and really jagged, then the water can cling to that irregular surface better, and then rust can develop, and that's a problem. It's also a deviation that, because before, my Dark Souls Elite Knight helmet, that was stainless steel, and I've been rocking that at conventions. I'd mentioned in the past that, I'm using stainless steel armor for cons because people keep touching the armor without asking, and I got sick of polishing rusty handprints. One thing I'll note, though, is that, carbon steels, the upper end quality ones, like 4130, significant strength difference over mild steel, but also some degree of strength difference over 410 stainless. So since it's 4130, it is going to rust. 4130 does have chromium in it, right? But not enough to be qualified as a stainless. So it's reasonably rust resistant, right? It's not going to get rusty if I just leave it sitting on a bookshelf, but if I pour water all over it and leave it overnight, it will get rusty, right? It just rusts slower than mild steel, slower than mild steel, but faster than true stainless. Couple other differences I was going to mention. So I wanted to put a crest here for that whole cosplay aesthetic. So if you look at the side profile, the point on this one is centered, the point on this one is sweeping back a bit, and then the crest is what would achieve the same height in profile compared to the one on the left. Another difference is the little hinge here to attach the visors, got like a little crown thing here. I thought that would be a little fancy. I just have a really basic one here because the character in mind doesn't have as fancy armor as could be, but still looks aesthetically really nice in my opinion. The character that I'm doing, Jaune from Ruby, the Rusted Knight version, he has full armor. I'm going to do mine a little bit different. One of the differences you'll notice is the nose piece. I am going to probably put some steel mesh in the eyes, and then this is so that the mesh has a solid surface in the middle, so it's not just one piece of mesh going straight through, because if I get hit square on the nose, right, if it's one piece of mesh, that whole thing caves in, versus if I take a hit square on the nose and it's continuous part of the visor itself and not mesh, this will hold up a lot better. And that's also why there's a nice point sticking out right down the middle. So yeah, super, super nice. But yeah, this one's going to be for HEMA style cut and thrust sparring, and that one's going to be for Boo Hurt.